actually, we are not going to let it burn today. The sun is burning, and for me today that is more than enough in this country. So welcome to this first live hangout for the Security Culture Summer Camp 2015. As you see, I've dressed up even in a t-shirt, I wear my sun protection, and everything is because it's summer, and summer camp is supposed to be summer. Today we have sun in Norway, which is very, very nice, except it's out there somewhere and not in here. But as soon as we finish, I will go back out and enjoy my lovely garden. I'll toss my hat and bring him back on when I leave. Now, this being the live hangout, it's also your weekly opportunity to interact with us. You can ask any questions, and hopefully I will be able to answer them. At least I will do my very best to see them, recognize them, and reply to them. The place to post your questions are on the Google Hangout page, which looks like this. So for this Hangout, it's the summer camp number 1. Then, of course, as we progress during summer, there will be different Hangouts and different pages. As you can see today, we already have one question, or actually a series of questions from Martina, and I will cover those questions in a little while. While we go through the summer camp, we will do our best to produce all or publish all the content that you will be needing for the upcoming week by Wednesday. So that means that you will have a little extra time, which is why this week's lectures came about yesterday. And along with the lectures of this week, we also send out a weekly email just for a quick reminder and to help you understand what the topic is this week. And talking about this week, let's take a look at the content for the course so far. So if you have reached all the way through the bottom here, you have in practice been able to look through the introduction of the security culture, which we used to explain a little bit about the background of security culture and why we believe it's important to focus on culture and not just on security awareness. Then we started digging in a little bit with readings and looking at the difference between awareness trainings and security culture programs. And one of the things that we really believe in is data, information. It's like if you don't have data, it's like going off doing stuff but not recording what is actually happening and what kind of impact you are creating, then in our opinion it quickly becomes a waste of time and resources. Without that data, it's very, very hard to know if what you're doing actually makes sense. Then this week we published what we call the Security Culture Framework process. And that is a top-level overview of what the framework is, how it looks, and how you organize your security awareness campaigns in a larger picture, in an ongoing process. And this process is the secret sauce, if you like, of the security culture framework. Instead of just doing something just because you can, or just because you want to, once a week or once a year or whenever you do it, the secret of the security culture framework is to plan. What do you want to achieve over a longer period of time? So what is your vision? And then break that down into smaller elements that you can, or objectives if you like, in which you create the security culture campaigns. Then the other thing to look at this week is the metrics module. And the metrics is one of the 4 components of the security culture framework. And in the metrics, we define what to measure, how to measure it, and why we need to measure it. So we look at, and we also learn a little bit about setting goals. Uh, it's important when you want to achieve something to know what you want to achieve, and setting goals will help you steer you in some sort of a direction. Now, although you do define goals, there is nothing wrong with changing your focus and changing your goals as you move forward and learn more. Maybe things around you changes, maybe people you work with change, maybe you have new technology or there's a merger. You never know what kind of what the future brings, and that is also why these goals may change in the future. It is, however, very important to have goals and use these goals as guiding stones or lighthouses, if you like, on where you want to take your security culture, and then break those goals up into more near-term objectives. This week we also have what we call an assignment. Every week for the rest of the summer, there will be assignments. Assignments are when you are supposed to be working and not just me or the other trainers. It's for you to actually sit down and apply what you have learned so far. We do not really test you for the assignments, but we like to discuss the results of them the week after. So again, if you have any questions or want to have our comments, feel free to send your assignment to us and we will review them and get back to you. The whole purpose and the reason why we have these assignments is, as I said, to help you apply what you learn. During this 5-week summer camp, you will have worked through all of the parts of the security culture framework, and mainly you will arrive at an actionable action plan which you can implement right away if you like. It is up to you if you want to use your own organization as example and use that and end up with a plan that works for you, or if you want to create your own fictional organization, if you like, and then use this as a learning experience and then redo the process with your own organization later. And if you are one of the consultants taking the course, then you may very well use one of your client cases in your assignments so that you can see how you can apply the framework to their specific needs and challenges. That's perfectly fine. A word of warning, since we are using internet, please remember that everything that we post everywhere, even in closed forums, will eventually risk becoming public information. So posting questions or data or information around, it is always nice to remember that anything that you put online may eventually become public. During the Hangouts, for example, everything we do here is by technology public, so keeping that in mind makes a lot of sense. If you should happen to miss the weekly Hangouts, it's no stress either because they are being recorded and we have posted links to everything in the lectures so that you can just re-watch the recording of the live Hangout. That means, of course, that if you are watching a recording now and not this live, if you ask me questions during the recording, I will not be able to answer that because then you see this after we actually did the live Hangout. I'm going to go a little bit into each of the assignments for this week. I say each of them, although they are presented as one. They come or they can be separated. So this document, except that was the wrong, no, it's the right one, yeah. Let me just open it up so I have it here on my screen as well. So this document explains what you should be doing for your assignment. The week or the deadline for the assignment is July 10th. Since you are not handing this assignment in, and you don't get grades for doing it, it is up to you if you do it within that time limit or not. There is, however, a good reason to do it is that next week there will be another assignment which will build on what we do this week, and the week after we continue like that. So by completing each assignment before you go on to the next one will make a lot of sense for you by building up towards the end of the summer camp. In this week's assignment, we would like you to do two things. First of all, we'd like you to think about what kind of data sources you have accessible in your organization today that you can use to see, watch, and document behavior, users' behavior in your systems. And this can be anything. It's totally up to you what kind of sources you use, from service and observational technology, or you can dig into your existing systems and look at, for example, logging systems and look at, so what kind of logs do I have that I can use to follow or watch and observe a particular behavior. You may also be a little bit more advanced in that you can combine more sources into an aggregated source and then see if the different sources correlate with each other, and then you can create experiments, of course, to see if you change some things with one source, does it change also in the other sources you use. We ask you to look at 5 sources. You may, of course, do more if you like, or if you think that, oh, wow, yeah, now I get it. This was really easy. Let's just continue. Then that's perfect. The purpose here is to help you realize that we do have access to a lot of data documenting user behavior in our systems already. So it may not be required to buy a new system or come up with something totally new. A lot of information is available in our systems already, and that means they are cheaply available and makes it easier for us to apply. Then the second part of the assignment this week is to define some goals. And the template looks like this. Let me open it up here. There we are. So this is a goal template, and the purpose of this is to look at what do you want to achieve with your security culture program. We also use the same template when you look at goals for the campaign. So to challenge yourself, use this and first create a longer goal, like a vision, as we call them sometimes, for your security culture program. And then, as good as you know, or as best as you can, write down and try to figure out how you can document that you achieve this goal or that you move in the right direction. And then create also one for a campaign that you can set up and do this summer. As the template looks a bit complex, the idea here is to help you to remember that just describing the goal or writing it down somewhere is good, but it's always better to try to describe it in a way that you know how to apply the data and what kind of data you need to gather in order to know that you achieve this goal. So that's why it looks like this. Of course, if you have any questions regarding these templates and the assignment, feel free to either post them now or send us an email. We are here to help you. That's That's the secrets from our side. Let me see if I can get it away. There we are away. So that's this week. Next week we will be looking at organizational module, and in the organizational module we start looking at what kind of people in your organization you may want to include in designing and creating and managing your security culture process. And we will also look into what we call target audiences, just to get your mind playing around those terms. In the this training course is possible to use for your CPEs if you need CPAs. Then document the time that you spend on the lectures and your assignments, and keep your records to document these to the organization that you send it to. We will, upon request, send you a certificate that you have completed the course, but there is no way for us to document how much time you spent on it. So you need to keep a record for the hours yourself. Many of the participants do the Security Culture Summer Camp not only to learn about the Security Culture Framework and how to build better security culture. A lot of our students join us to have the certification called Certified Security Culture Practitioner. And we love that. It's a very good way to document that you know how to use a framework and how to build, measure, and maintain security culture in organizations. There is, however, a caveat, and that is, in order to get that certificate, you will have to complete all assignments and then use this, the assignments to do the last and final assignment. And that final assignment we need you to send to us, and then we will review it, and if you do it correctly, which we suspect you will be doing, we will issue the certificate a few weeks after the training or summer camp is over. Should you need more time to complete the final assignment, please let us know, and we will do our best to help you. But of course, it does not mean that we will get you another year or two, so be reasonable. Our goal, again, is to help you learn as much as you can about the security culture framework and how to build and maintain and measure security culture using the framework. So again, we are here to help. And I think that concludes all the boring information that I had to share this week. So let's jump over to something that is more fun, and that is student questions. And I see here that Martine from, I think she's from Netherlands, Holland, it kind of reveals in the question here, have a few questions. So I will start on the top. You can find these questions on the Google Hangout page. The first question is, I read the SEF is free. Does this mean I can deploy it wherever and whenever I want without any limitation? And yes, it is what it means. There are some restrictions or limitations, if you like. We have decided to give away the framework for free using the common criteria licensing, share with, what is it called? Attribution. So as long as you say that you use the framework and point them back to the SEF website, then yeah, use it exactly how you want. If you want to use it as consultants, that means apply it towards your customers, clients, that is perfectly fine as well. You may want to have the security culture practitioner certificate so that you can document toward your clients that you actually know what you do. And the good thing is that you are part of this training, so you will have your certificate by end of the summer. We may change some of these limitations in the future. That means that we may put in place a tiered level of partners. So we are considering, for example, setting up a security culture coaching training, which is a specific certificate. If you are interested in that, let us know and we can discuss that later. Second question from Martina is, do you know any users of the SAF in Netherlands? And then I think it would be great to work together. And first of all, I agree with you. I think it would be great to work together, form local user groups. I see that in a lot of other open source and open projects. So that is a very good way of learning and sharing and getting experience and spreading that. So finding someone either locally or even virtually to work with is a great idea. When it comes to that question, though, I cannot say without, well, so according to our policies, we do not discuss where our clients are, so we don't give away that kind of information. So I cannot tell you that there are people there. What I do know is that there are people around the world using the framework. Some of them are found on the website and probably is public about it. And a lot of people who use the framework prefer not to share or disclose that, which from our perspective is perfectly fine. What I suggest that you do in Netherlands or in your country, if you are not Martina, is to create a post on the website, start talking about it, discuss it with people around, maybe write an article and publish it somewhere, and see if people take interest and want to meet you. So set up your own user group, and then I'm sure people will show up. I get surprised every single day by new people using the framework and then sharing their experiences with me. It's really amazing. Third question. Next week I'll attend the Security Awareness Summit in London. By chance, anyone here who will join me? I hope I can manage to be there to be back for the July 9th hangout. So for this one, I do know that a couple, at least one more person who is attending the summer camp this year will be at the summit. And this guy knows himself as well. But again, I don't want to disclose any names or anything like that. So what I suggest is, again, make a post in a forum and ask around when at the Security Awareness Summit. Unfortunately, I will miss it this year. I don't have the luxury of traveling next week, so I will not be there. But I'm sure that any other participants or students who will be there, remember that Martina would like to meet you if you are around. So meet up, do something, and make it happen. And then it's a question, is it possible to provide the slides as a PDF as well? And I'm guessing, Martin, that you want the slides from the summer camp, so the training slides. I will see if we can make that happen. I will have to ask my team to see if we can do something, but I will let you know. PDF. So that's fantastic. And Martina, thank you so much for asking these questions. This is one of the main reasons we do the live hangout, to make sure that we are able to pick up questions and stuff people wonder about. And then we will also be bringing on guests to share their story of how they have been building security culture in their organizations. Yeah. Now I can smell barbecue from my neighbor outside, and it is summer and sun is shining. So usually that means in Norway that we go outside and we just indulge ourselves in whatever sunlight and heat and barbecue there is. So I'll do that in a few minutes. I don't see any other questions coming up. So unless there are any questions, in my list here is done. as far as I can see. So I think that for this Hangout we are happy. At least I hope you are happy. If you're not happy, let us know as well. And if there are any other questions coming up, you can reach us either by the mails in the training or by posting on the next Hangout wall. With that, I wish Martine a safe trip to London. Enjoy the summit, and make sure to say hi to Lance Spitzner from me. He will be there, I know. And I'm sure there are a lot of other people there who will be willing to discuss the framework with you. So have a fantastic rest of the week. While you dig back into the lectures and assignment, I will go out and have a barbecue. Ciao.